All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Southern Friday Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Len Dorman. We are working with New Orleans Paranormal Society and their Voices from Beyond ghost tours in New Orleans. If you want a real ghost tour, gives you facts, not BS. Put you in a haunted place, like, say, the Andrew Jackson Hotel, put you in front of a good ghost, and, well, they're good. They'll spook you. They're good ghosts. They don't attack you. At least not yet. But they'll put you in some place at the Andrew Jackson for a couple of hours, and another location for a couple of hours, and do some real life ghost hunting. Here's their information right here. Going to New Orleans Paranormal Society. Check them out. They are excellent people, fun to work with, and Chris and Jen are really nice people. And like I said, put you in a haunted location. And I almost forgot the most important photo at all. I just put it up. It's Sean to put it up for me. Thank you very much. They do the New Orleans Paracon 2026. They will be going to the haunted places that they do use on their tours. You'll be able to go hunt Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. And they will, like I said, they'll take you to one of several haunted locations. You can bring your own equipment or use a piece of theirs if you can talk them out of it. And actually do some ghost hunting. John Zaffris is going to be the superstar there. Our own Letriana Brown will be there. And you can ghost hunt with these people. I will be doing a live podcast of the entire Paracon and on the ghost hunts where possible, where Gwen can get me on the internet. So there's your chance to be on the podcast live. Watch yourself later on the replay. So talking about replays, we're going to about one of the best people I know with a spirit box. It's up there around Vancouver area. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he is Canadian. He's on a little bit later than we are. So we're the ones staying up late. Bringing the great Bill Hauser.
Hello, Len. How you doing?
Doing just great, Bill. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
That is cool. All right. What are we going to do tonight? Are we going to scare some people or are we going to chit chat?
Well,
I'm
we'll do a
going to do
little
what you
both, a
want to
little
do.
chit chat, and then do some sessions there.
All right. We're kind of busy around here. Gwen is gone tonight. They are traveling to the Salem Paracon, which you saw the commercial of just a couple of minutes ago, and they're got to be dealing with that this weekend. So they are on the road. I'm here at home, and I'm told Sean earlier that I had the phone call today from the local high-speed internet fiber people, which is my power company here, that they will be hooking us up the next week or so to fiber optic internet and finally be rid of this cell phone tower stuff that is quite slow both ways. I can't do videos. I can't, or because put them up edited, it takes 4 or 5 hours to do. So I've always had internet issues because their system got crowded because everybody here in the county was on their system. And now a lot of people are going to the fiber optic, and I'll be joining that crowd within the next week or 10 days. So I am in a very good mood.
I bet, yeah, it's good to have optic fiber. We've had that up here for quite a while now.
Well, of course, y'all in Canada get stuff before we do down here.
Yeah, it's been at least the last 15 years that they've slowly installed the optic fibers in different neighborhoods and stuff. Still, I guess out in the rural areas they don't have it yet, but in the city center areas and stuff, suburbs and stuff of the major cities.
Right. We don't qualify as a suburb because I live out a mile outside of a town with only 2,200 people in it.
Mm-hmm.
So to say I'm rural is a little bit of an understatement. I'm in the country.
Yeah, you're in the backwoods.
I am way in the backwoods. We built it up since I've been here. There is at least two people have cranked up new residences down the road. And I guess that's why they're bringing fiber in. They may have had, we've been on a list for 2 years waiting for
Oh
this.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we recently had somebody move, I think they moved a big trailer in. Had somebody a year or so move a big house in that was only the second house on this road. And I sold the back 2 acres of our lot last year to one of the neighbor's sons. So he lived next to his dad and granddad. So I gave us another house on this street. So I'm thinking that's why we ended up getting fiber optic. There's getting enough people in this area to make
Yeah.
it worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet it's once the population increases, yeah, then that creates a demand and so on. So,
Right. Oh, and I forgot about Daniel built his house starting last year, and he completed it this spring. He's
mm-hmm.
got a huge near mansion over here. Of course, he bought probably getting close to 45, 50 acres.
Oh, okay.
He's basically got a great big, really nice house, and he is raising horses and cattle. So yeah, one of my neighbors, yeah, does raise horses and cows, which is why I'm going to be, I'm adding on. I'm doing my porch right now. Next summer, I'll be adding on to the back of the house, and eventually have a Western style, Western themed bar in the back. Yes, and
Oh, that'll be
it
nice.
will be equipped, and
Mm-hmm.
you can tell them all in Canada. Yes, I am putting Crown Royal in because I do prefer some Crown Royal.
No
So
Southern Comfort.
I'll have that too.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Also have probably some slow gin. If you ever had slow gin fizz, that's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I tend to be more for hard liquor. I like vodka. That's usually something I enjoy. So, I'm not a big beer drinker. So,
Yeah, I drink beer in the summer. During the
yeah,
winter, instead of drinking cold
occasionally.
beer,
Yeah.
I usually go with a good Scotch, Crown Royal, something like that, and drink it at room temperature.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, keep that doubly keeps you warm instead of it's being 30 degrees outside or 20 degrees outside, and you're guzzling cold beer.
Hmm.
Uh, so how have you been? It's been a while since you've been on the show.
Yeah, I guess what August last time I believe I was on.
I believe that was right.
Yep, August, and then yeah, I had a little setback in September. There, I had just a small accident, really, with the kick scooter I enjoy taking out. I was doing a YouTube video with a friend. He was filming me, and I was in another area, the White Rock area, where it's a lot of hills, and I set a certain path I was going to take, and anyway, I turned on the side street and I kind of overlooked, but the road conditions were not very good, and it was slanted over and it was all cracked, and so I ended up going over. So, but anyway, I'm okay now. No broken bones, no stitches or head injury, like concussions or anything like that. So, uh, I was considered to be very lucky. So,
Yeah, it sounds like you were lucky. A lot luckier than Michael Gagliano because he's afraid of the shows, and he was riding a little scooter, and he went head over heels, and he
mhm.
landed on his face.
Oh, nasty. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
that was
wearing a helmet, so I think that's what basically this part of my face was bruised up a bit, and then what do you call gashes and just above the eyebrow, and that was from the sunglasses I was wearing. These basically they weren't a safety type sunglasses, so now I got a pair. But anyway, the lens broke, and so I was lucky I didn't get that in my eye or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, no stitches. I was surprised because I sure bled a lot when I got to the emergency at the hospital. So,
Yes,
but they checked me out pretty good. So
you
then
are lucky.
gave me a tetanus shot because I hadn't had one for a while, and some painkillers, and sent me on home. So, yeah, by the end of that week, I was on a trip over to Victoria. So it didn't really stop or slow me down that much. So that was the nice thing about it. So,
How is Victoria?
oh, very nice. It was a good weekend. The weather was really good, and yeah, it was lots to see there, and festivals and stuff to go to, and that. So that made it really fun.
Cool. You still talking with my friend Dave Scott?
Not too much. Basically, I don't go on a show anymore, so I don't have too much to do with him. But occasionally, he might send a message or whatever, and I'll do it that way through Messenger on Facebook. But basically, I haven't really communicated with him for at least a good 7, 8 months.
Oh wow. He's a busy guy. Now he's got. If you look at his show now, he's got a heck of a beard. It's a lot longer than mine. It's the way down to here.
Yeah, yeah, he wants that Grizzly Adams look or something like that where he lives. So,
Yeah, and of course his buddies, the aliens, they look at that and say, "Oh my gosh, what this guy has something on all over his face."
mhm. Well, I know he goes out a lot on Sasquatch hunts and stuff with some people there, and then some people that come into town there from outside of BC. I mean, basically, if they're going to see a Sasquatch, it's a good place to see it. So around his area,
Good as any.
yeah,
I theoretically, if you look at a map searching Sasquatch area, I live in one. The area around here, except for the farms, could house a Yeti population. But you got a lot of
hmm
farms, you got a lot of crops going,
yeah,
but nobody's reporting any damage to their cornfields or their rice fields where they've been
yeah,
raided by a big creature. A lot of deer here.
yeah.
Uh, I've had herds in my yard, not a single deer. I've had a herd of 7 and 8 deer at a time in my
Oh
front
yeah,
yard.
uh-huh.
So there's things for Sasquatch to eat. Plus, I live close to a creek on one side. I got a bayou on the other, and just down the road, got a pretty good sized fishing lake.
hmm
In fact, it's a state park, and there's plenty of water. But I've never heard any stories of people seeing a Sasquatch here. Now we do get a bear in town once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I live in the Pacific Northwest, so this is a kind of a prime area for Sasquatch once you get out of Vancouver up into
Oh
the
yeah,
mountains there. So, yeah,
at
because
the most,
Vancouver's kind of settled down off of the coastal mountains on the water there, and then of course urban sprawl out into the Fraser Valley and stuff. So,
yeah, that is real prime Sasquatch and Yeti territory out there. There's probably parts out there that haven't seen a white man in decades.
yeah. Yeah, it's well, yeah, there's a lot of very remote areas. A lot of people here in Vancouver area, they look at the mountains and think, "Oh, that's great," but they don't really realize over on the other side of that mountain, there's pure wilderness for at least a good 100 and some odd miles before you even get to small little settlements or cabins or anything like that. So, just pure wilderness.
You can get lost in there in a hurry.
hmm Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's pretty. The only way to describe it, it's a very wild country, a lot of mountainous terrain and stuff like that. So
Very
until you
beautiful to look
actually
at.
see it, it's quite something.
Yeah,
Uh, To be honest with you, being outdoors and that, it's great. I enjoy that as well. But I've never seen a Sasquatch personally, but I know that a lot of people have seen sightings through the years and stuff, especially up around the Harrison area. That's another hot spot. So, and the Agassiz Harrison area.
I have never seen even a hint of one.
Yeah.
I've had some armadillos making noises at night and coming at me on rear
Yeah.
up on back legs and threaten me because I surprised them. But and I've heard wild turkeys make some strange noises in the woods.
Oh yeah, I could imagine. Yeah. We get quite a variety of different wildlife out here, and deer and bear and black bear and so on, and cougar and that. So, to be honest with you, I mean, it's not too uncommon when you're driving on the highway out of Vancouver. You might just see a sighting of a bear or whatever.
Yeah, I've never seen anything in the skies I couldn't explain. So it's not that I don't believe it's possible, but I'd have no Bigfoot experiences and no alien experience, no UFO adventures at all.
Oh, okay.
That's why
Well,
I
I've had
rarely
those,
discuss it.
so I've seen the UFOs and being involved in CE5 and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's interesting, no question about it. But no Sasquatch or Bigfoot I've not seen yet. So maybe one day.
Did you have some good Northern Light shows the last few nights?
They did yesterday, but I didn't really see them in my area. I guess because the viewing around here and then the structural stuff is a little hard to see. So. But yeah, they were seeing them in other parts of Vancouver and out, anywhere where you're close to the water is where they were seeing them really good. So
Right. That they were for 2 nights this
yeah,
past
I
week.
heard they
You could
saw them
see
all
them
the way
way down
down
here.
to Mexico, the northern
Yeah,
Mexico. So that's quite
we had,
amazing.
yes, we had with that the solar flare, whatever it was,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
gun of
probably an
solar
X flare
radiation.
or something.
hmm We had quite a light show here in Arkansas, which is
Yeah,
amazing because, uh, well, this is almost a once in a lifetime. It doesn't happen very often. It's
no,
every few
no,
decades we'll get something like this. So it was amazing, beautiful. It was quite pink, other shades of red, a little
yeah.
bit of purple, touch of yellow. Quite the sight. We've had quite the light show down here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, out here, I mean, it's people, we do see them in the lower mainland or like the general Vancouver, greater Vancouver area occasionally. I remember, I think about 2 years ago, they were seeing them pretty strong there for a little while, for a few days when they had some strong solar flare activity.
You been on any good ghost hunts lately?
No, I don't really go out anymore with the groups and that. I've basically stopped going out with them because I got tired of, well, the politics, the internal stuff. So I just
Oh,
decided to move
yeah.
on. And but I still do the ghost box stuff, so it hasn't stopped me. And I'm going out and doing my own thing. So
Yeah, same thing here. I'm basically a group of one. I may team up with another group, hopefully, to go to some of the more expensive places.
yeah,
I still need to go to the Crescent Hotel. If you
oh
look on
yeah,
my Facebook page, had two
hmm
people that I follow on YouTube called the Endless Adventure. They came back from overseas and came straight to Arkansas. I guess they kind of wherever they came in, they flew from there to Little Rock, and they spent Halloween night or night right close to Halloween in room 218, I believe it is, which
oh
is
okay,
supposed to be the most haunted room in the Crescent Hotel. And these are not ghost hunters, but they checked it out and they took some pictures, both using a digital and a Polaroid.
Hmm.
and he got nothing but to put the pictures up the post in case somebody wanted to look and see.
Yeah.
But there was during the construction, I should say, of the hotel, a worker was up above,
Hmm.
working on the outside on the walls, and fell. They didn't have any floors above completed, so he fell all the way to what is now the second floor, and of course
Oh, okay.
died.
Yeah.
And the spot that he died on is where the bed sits in room 218.
Okay.
Now they are not is anything like you with a spirit box. They didn't have one, but I could just imagine what you would get keeping a spirits box open for several hours. You staying in 208, 218, excuse me. Would you attempt to do something like that, knowing you're sitting on the bed or laying on the bed mere inches from where a guy died during the construction of the building?
Well, I have been in some hotels that were considered to be quite haunted and had quite a notorious past. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing the things you see, light phenomena in your room and all sorts of stuff. Occasionally, some poltergeist activity with stuff being moved around and then knocking and, the usual haunting aspects that you experience when you go out. So, but, I mean, I've experienced a lot of stuff through the years. So for me, it's, I kind of just say it's like second nature now for me because I don't get the same shock like when you first start doing all that kind of stuff from a long time ago. But I've been doing this stuff for many years, going out on investigations and stuff like that. So many locations with lots of different stories that are attached to them.
For those that don't know, how long have you been doing spirit box sessions?
Well, Spirit Box and the ITC, I started that in 2010, so not too long. But the actual ghost hunting, I was doing that long before I was doing the ITC stuff. So uh, I'd say at least well over 25 years now.
What did you use
And I did
before?
quite a bit of stuff in Victoria, what's a very haunted town, shall we say, with a lot of history attached to it. So stayed in some hotels that were very haunted, and yeah, it was amazing.
What kind of equipment did you use before you got so involved with the spirit box?
Well, the usual stuff. I had a night vision camera. That was the Sony type cameras, the high eight and all that stuff. Just regular photo camera, 35 millimeter. Then I had cassette tape, like a little handheld one that I used to take out a lot. And then when digital came over, it made it a little more easier. So I just had a small digital recorder after. And, sometimes you use an external mic with a good frequency response. So you pick up those lower frequencies and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's quite something when you go out and do these things. So, uh, yeah, all EMF meters and stuff like that. So the usual kind of stuff that a lot of people had.
Yeah, I think we've all been through that phase. And
Yeah.
you got heavily involved with the spirit boxes. I got where I used Echo Box after it became available. Use that a lot.
Oh yeah.
Still do. But they both get results. I had no issues with any of it. I do spirit box. I got an SP7,
Yeah. Well,
and
nowadays too, a lot of groups and that are experimenting a lot with the ether, or pardon me, not the ether, the Estes method, and doing these kinds of types of ITC research and that. So it's interesting what they do. I've tried it, but I'm not really overly fond of it personally. But it is interesting, no question about it. When you get your other senses going, when you're wearing a blindfold and you got the special uh, headphones that are noise canceling and stuff like that. So yeah, it works very well.
yeah, it's amazing when you think about the equipment we had when you and I got started
Yeah.
a quarter
You
of a
know, I
century
mean,
ago.
yeah, basically reel to reel I played with a little bit too, and then also cassette for quite a few years. And then, once digital came along, that changed the whole spectrum of EVP research.
Yeah, it was a whole new ball game. And come out with the new cameras. What was that called? The SLS.
Yeah. Well, being able to get your data that you've collected on the audio files, it was easier to get after because, pardon me, the thing is with cassettes and that, it's basically you had to load that onto your computer with a type of software, Auticity or whatever, and WavePad I used to and stuff like that. So, but I mean, the Ghost Box, yeah, it made those aspects a lot easier because it was in real time, so you could hear it right away. So that made it really cool.
True. So, what do we want to do? Do we want to go straight to Spirit Box, or wait a little bit, or what you want to do? The show is yours, Bill. Whatever you want to do.
Well, we can
I
do one
say let's
at the
do it.
beginning, and then just do our normal chit chat interview kind of stuff. So, okay, for some people that may not know what the Ghost Box is, there's many types. This is just one that's really good. It has random mode. I use random for the scanning because I really like that. But you could use, regular linear scans and stuff like that in both forward and reverse. So, my preference, I do like random personally. But anyway, we'll turn it on so you can hear what it sounds like. Hello. Who would like to talk to me? Can you tell me how many active spirits around my area? Yeah. Okay, could I get a name, please? Who else is there? Nice to meet you. What would you like to say? Do you have a message for anybody? Because I'm on a little radio show here. You might know somebody out there. You have a message for them, maybe? Who else there? Okay. Who's this? Tell me, is it going to rain again heavy like it did earlier today? Who's this? Who else is there? Okay, I'm going to end this session. Thank you. Okay, well, that was a little run by test so we know what the Ghost Box sounds like now. So It's in real time, so you hear the voices pop out like that, and yeah, you'll sometimes get little phrases in there, and they will respond intelligently to your questions a lot of times. So yeah, it's pretty cool how that works.
I heard, I couldn't tell if it was a radio noise or actually a voice, but it sounded like they said Megan, and there was a slight pause in the middle of the name, two syllables, and a very slight pause between the two of them, which makes it kind of hard to be on the radio.
Yeah, well, actually, using the random mode scanning, also helps to basically mitigate the whole what do you call remnants of broadcast radio and music and everything else that might be on the radio. So, because a lot of times you can peg that pretty easy. Around here are most of our well in the I'm on FM with this radio. So most of the antennas are up on the mountains and that, so the AM is a little different. But I find AM out here doesn't work too well on the ghost box a lot of time. Too much disturbance, uh, high voltage power lines nearby and stuff like that. So
Yes, same thing around here. Use the ghost box. We don't have a radio station here. The nearest radio station is about 40 miles from here. So in the car, we have some days we can't pick up the one in Little Rock, which is about 80 miles away,
yeah,
and the other one down in Monticello, which is 40. They're kind of close to each other on the dial. There's also a country station over from Mississippi, so they're about 50, 60 miles away.
yeah,
And there's days we can't pick them up at the car.
yeah. Well, I
So
know
use
not
my
far
cruiser.
from where I am, but it I'm up on a hill, but then it tapers down into an open area. And there's an AM radio station broadcasting their antenna on the flatlands there, basically in the farm country there. So, yeah, that would cross channel when you listen to on the Ghost Box that station. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a very powerful station anyway. Probably kicking over 50,000 watts or more.
Okay. Yeah, both the state. I think Little Rock is 100,000 watts
Yeah,
because it
well,
is
this is
in the
probably
center of the
close
state.
to it, but it's pretty strong. It's different with
Yeah.
the FM because it's up on the mountains, the antennas and that, and you don't get that same. At least I haven't experienced that too much. As the cross channeling on FM, so where you get stations like that. So, but if you're
Right.
scanning on a linear, yeah, you're going to pick up sometimes those remnants of broadcast radio. I find the random mode helps to mitigate that problem.
Right. And of course, it sounds different down here because uh, we live on a very small hill,
Yeah.
uh, but even where I'm sitting right now is maybe 70 feet above sea level.
Okay.
So
Oh, you got a
I'm
bit of elevation there.
just a bit, not much.
No.
Further south and of course further east,
Yeah.
you start heading to the Mississippi, you're starting to get really close to sea level or
Yeah.
just a few feet above.
Yeah. We have the Fraser River going through, and being my experience and experience of others, when you get closer to the river, especially around New Westminster area, because that was the original capital of British Columbia before Victoria became that. But anyway, yeah, you get a lot of spirit activity in that area, and then up into Langley area, and then onwards, further out into the Fraser Valley.
All right. Wow. Uh, I will probably never see that area up there. It's one thing I would rather go up north to the uh, Seattle area or the Vancouver area than go down to
Yeah,
Southern California. California just got nothing for me.
yeah. Well, I've been to Southern California quite a few times through the years. Yeah, you go to a place like Los Angeles, it's kind of breathtaking at times. But I remember the first time going through Los Angeles into Orange County, and the high rises from the freeway there. I didn't even see them that day because of all the smog back in the early 80s. I
Ooh,
was going down on a
yeah.
trip with some other people. So the next day in the morning, the fog or the smog had lifted a little bit, so you could see you could see the skyscrapers from the downtown Los Angeles area from Orange County for where we were staying. So we weren't far from Disneyland in that area, Anaheim.
Yeah,
But again, yeah, it was quite something. I'm going, wow, not seeing the skyscrapers at first and then seeing them the next day was quite surprising. That's how thick the smog was there. So
yes. That's before they got their sky cleaned up. It's a lot more
yeah,
interesting from the pictures I've seen.
yeah,
With just a fog rolling in, it's kind of pretty around the skyscrapers.
yeah, definitely. I've actually been down there quite a few times after that through the years, and yeah, of course, you see the skyscrapers, no problem, because they got the better standards of air quality going.
Yeah, 14 years in Chicago, got used to. My wife worked in a big building
Yeah.
right next to the Hancock down there, so I got used to them.
Hmm.
Had my honeymoon there. We went into the Hancock, and they had a. Now they've got that tilt window up there. I think that's in the Sears Tower, the old Sears Tower. It's called the Willis Tower now. But the Hancock had a fake window in their top story.
Oh yeah.
So you know me, I'm a goofball. I went through the window, laid down on the far side of it, put my hands like I was hanging on, and I felt like I put my hands here on the screen and put my head down here like this. And it was like I was trying to climb back up into the window.
Hmm. Yeah.
Made it very interesting photo.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen high rises in other big cities like New York City. I've been to New York City and Manila, Philippines, Hong Kong. I was in Hong Kong and some other locations. Mexico City, that was probably the biggest city I've ever been to. I mean, the whole population's practically of Canada's in the one city there. So,
Right. Uh,
I mean, it was huge. I mean, it's in a valley, of course, Mexico City and that. But I mean, even back then, they were still talking about some of the sinking problems, and I know that's been a big problem. Uh, as we speak for this day, and what they've been trying to fix those problems because they got a lot of underground water
right.
seeping through.
Well, it's practically built on a small, kind of large, actually, shallow lake.
Yeah,
Always
that's what I
was.
heard. Originally, there was a lake bed there, or a dried up lake bed where it was built, and that. So,
Too bad you didn't go down there with some equipment. That's got to be a haunted location with all the wars and stuff that's going down in Mexico City because they
oh
just threw
yeah,
the
yeah.
bodies
And
in the
then you go
water.
outside of Mexico City where the pyramids are, the Aztec. That's pretty impressive to see, and beautiful museum there. I still remember going to the museum, and fascinating as all could be. And yeah, it's amazing the amount of history Mexico has, and then the cultural aspects and that. And of course, the Spanish and everything colonizing the country and that. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of history in North America. A lot of people don't study history, don't realize
yeah.
what's going on in North America. A lot of people in the United States don't realize that Mexico is part of North America.
Well, yeah, it is.
we we sometimes forget down here. They say, okay, we're Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Canadians are Americans, Mexicans Americans,
Well,
Cubans
we're all
are
part of North
Americans.
America.
Yeah, and when you get down south, Colombia, Ecuador,
Yeah.
uh, Argentina, Chile, they can
Yeah.
call themselves Americans as easy as we do.
Yeah. I mean, I've traveled in Mexico, through the many years, early 80s, going across to Tijuana from San Diego and that. So yeah, and then what do you call? Went on different holidays, package deals and stuff like that, all inclusives, Puerto Vallarta, Mazaland, and then Acapulco, and a lot of these great places. Mostly
Did
on the
you
Pacific coast, but a little bit on the East Coast I went to. But yeah, it was just amazing. Every time I went, there was always something new to see there.
Oh yeah. Did you ever do any ghost hunting when you were in the Philippines? Uh, tell
I
everybody
did
that know
some,
when
yes.
you were there.
I also did a lot of the spirit box work as well, and yeah, I even went down to the university. Sort of, the university had a big reputation for hauntings, and then also they had to disband a parapsychology club there because this one club, things got out of hand, and anyway, I don't know the whole story to it, but anyway, the university administration basically had to disband this one parapsychology club. There's still some others that are attached to it. Uh, but again, once you get into the parapsychology, you get into that type of philosophy. It's like a science within its own well-being, shall we say, for the paranormal and that. So, but again, when you go into a place like that, it's a big cultural difference, of course, from back home, of course. But at the same time, once you start to understand a little bit of the history, then you start to realize how intense certain locations can be for energy. And I tell you, there's a lot of energy there.
Well, the Philippines have a long history. You've had people there for probably a couple thousand years. You go back.
Yeah, well, you had the indigenous population there, and then through the many years, you also had the spice trade in the south part. Of course, the Muslim populations and that in the south. In the north, it was mostly the Spaniards and that, and then a lot of logging in the northern part of the Philippines and stuff like that, and also by outside companies coming in from other countries like United States and Europe and so on. And yeah, it had so much resources. That's the thing about the Philippines. Massive amount of forests and stuff like that, big trees and stuff.
Right. You got the rubber plantations, and you get down further south in that Manila. You've got in Malaysia. You've got oil wells down there, and that's why the
Yeah,
Japanese took all that over when just after they attacked Pearl Harbor. A lot of people forget that the Philippines was hit, Hong Kong got hit, like I said, Malaysia got hit. It was they were fighting all over those islands,
yeah.
and
Well, actually, the
people.
fort in the old part of Manila there, Fort Santiago. Yeah, that during the Second World War, that was a real bloodbath there with the Japanese and Americans and other Australians and that. Yeah, a lot of energy there. You still see they've still left some of the buildings that got bombed out, just the shells that are left of the building and that. And even in the fort itself, some of them were bombed out. So, but they left them there after and that. So, but again, I mean, that location, yeah, there's a lot of energy there. To be honest with you, it was I found it quite intense. You know, the time I got to go down into one of the tunnels there on the side of the fortress. The security guard allowed me to go down because he had seen me on the TV show about 3, 4 days ago when I was on a TV show in the Philippines. So he recognized me while I was there because I wanted to go back and see Fort Santiago, and I of course brought the ghost box. So anyway, he says, "Yeah, you go down." He allowed me to go down. Of course, that was a really interesting. That was like going down in a dungeon, but there was supply rooms off from the little tunnels there, and then also oh, a few areas I was told that were offices and that with the militaries of the day, the Spaniards and stuff. And but again, not a lot of people go down that corridors.
No.
And that's where I got bit by a spider too. So I was down there, but luckily it wasn't poisonous. And yeah, I was under observation for at least 2 days after, and so. But anyway, yeah, it was an interesting place. Actually, on a YouTube, it talks a little bit about on the ghost box when I was in the back part of the area. You could overlook and see the river from there. Yeah, it was pretty fascinating, shall we say, what history is associated with that fort.
A lot of history there. We're talking about some very historic places where people
Oh
have
yeah,
been for
definitely.
years and years.
I
Is that
mean,
fort you're
that
talking
fort was
about?
built probably in the mid 1700s, I would say. And right across from the fort is a big church there, cathedral style Catholic church, and that very historical location as well. So, yeah, it had a lot of interesting history associated with it.
Yes, in Mexico City would be amazing too. That'd be both locations would be absolutely amazing to do some
Yeah.
paranormal research with.
Oh, yeah. And then I got a chance to go down to Mindanao Island. Pardon me. That location of that island was really amazing. Oh, I was up in basically oh, Hawaiian de Oro. Uh, Again, we went outside of the area, and of course, it gets really nice, kind of tropical forest stuff and windy little rivers and stuff. But anyway, the cab driver showed me this location, and it was along near the river. But anyway, one of the big storms, I think it was 2011 typhoon there. There was a little village that basically got wiped down, and you could just see the remnants of the building basically down close to the river there when it was swept down and that. So that was pretty interesting to see. But also, you feel bad that people had lost their lives in such a way, probably in the middle of the night when
Hmm.
this all took place. So
Yeah, you have been to some amazing places, and most people don't realize uh, that if you're going to be in the paranormal and you plan to do research in multiple locations, you need to study a little bit of the history.
yes, well, I think the two go hand in hand, really,
Mhm.
with ghost hunting aspects of the paranormal and history. I know I've met some people involved in the paranormal that are quite the history buff. Uh, Amazing resources of information they acquire along the way. A lot of stuff too that doesn't always get into the mainstream that you hear as well. But anyway, it is a factual aspects of the history, like in local areas and that what I'm referring to. So, but yeah, you could go all over the place, like even in BC, or I mean, we don't really have a large history like back east in that, say in Quebec and Ontario. Okay, because they were colonized long back in the what 1500s, I think, when the explorers came out.
Right, the explorers, all the fur traders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was pretty remote areas. Rivers were the form of transportation and stuff like that. Even the Fraser River that I talked about earlier, I mean, they used to have stern ships going up and down from New West up to, it could go as far as, I think, around Yale or whatever. And then that was all part of the gold rush times and that. So, And then Harrison Lake also was the alternative route up into the interior as well. They had a stern wheeler on that lake and would take you up into the what they call the Little Harrison at the top there of the lake system. And then from there they can get on, and then it would eventually attach to the wagon road. So
We know that a lot of French explorers. That's one reason the French got into New Orleans. Is Frenchmen coming down from Canada
yeah,
and got onto the Mississippi rivers and wonder where this goes. So they just let it carry them with the flow. Next thing you know, they're in the Gulf of Mexico.
yeah. Well, when you think of it, I mean, you catch the currents, and that it'll take you out. I mean, to some part, the Fraser River is tidal right up, to around Agassiz Bridge area. That's all like where the tides would come up from the Fraser River to the ocean. So even Harrison Lake is considered a tidal lake, and Pit Meadow, or not Pit Meadows, can't even think of the name right now. But anyway, these other lakes, Pit Lake, that's the is tidal as well, and that has quite a bit of history in itself as well. With Slumac, he was this Indian guy that had a secret stash of gold that he could go to, and of course those stories still carry on today. So
Yeah, it's kind of amazing the history
yeah,
you and I kind of share
hmm
because down here right by Bartholomew Bayou, they used to have stern wheelers, which is a riverboat. Now this is a very small riverboat because we're talking about a bayou here.
yeah,
But they had stern wheelers, like I say, small ones, going to it was about 1912 when the last one came down the bayou.
yeah. A lot
And
of
during
those boats too were very shallow hulls to them because sandbars and all those navigation problems on the rivers and that. So
oh yeah, it's quite an amazing thing that when you think that as late as 1910, there was
mhm.
a small riverboat paddle wheeler
Yeah,
going less than a quarter mile from where I'm sitting.
yeah, exactly.
Because I live relatively close to where the Arkansas flows into the Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's why it's kind of low
Yeah.
here. if
Well, I
we
know on the Okanagan Lake area down where Penticton is, and then you have a little canal that connects to Skaha Lake. Well, anyway, in Penticton part there on the water of Okanagan Lake, you have a stern wheeler that's now a museum. And I've gone on there a few times too, and that was amazing to see that old stern wheeler. It's actually a good sized boat because it was used for bringing supplies up the Okanagan Lake up to Kelowna and so on. So again, yeah, amazing amount of history.
Yeah, when you're going down to New Orleans, paddle wheelers are part of that history,
Yeah,
and they've got two of them now. They picked
yeah,
up Natchez and the city of New Orleans now
yeah. Well,
that will
actually, I have
take
a
that.
connection with the paranormal aspect at the local cemetery with an RCMP officer. He was shot on, I think it was the other stern wheeler. It's no longer around, of course, but he was transporting a prisoner, and I think they were going up to Kelowna or whatever at that time. Anyway, something happened, and the prisoner overpowered the RCMP officer and used his service revolver and shot him. And
Wow.
he died on the boat there. And so, anyway, in the cemetery, when I was communicating, I actually got his voice coming through. It was a bit faint, but he was responding to some of the things that I was asking him. He was a sergeant. They made him finally a sergeant or whatever. Uh, they had put that on his headstone. They redid it and everything because I guess he was in the midst of through the rank system going to be ranked, but he died at the time before all that officially took place.
Oh, wow.
So many years later, anyway, this happened, and now it's on his headstone. And so I asked him about that, and he commented about it. So it was very interesting. Again, his voice was a bit faint, but it came through on the ghost box. And up in that area, you have a lot of white noise, staticky. I mean, you have only a few radio stations, of course, in that area. But again, yeah, it was amazing how he came through on that. So,
Well, there's a lot of trauma in that death. He was fighting for his life, and he lost the fight.
yeah, yeah,
So that
yeah. I mean,
a lot of energy right there.
yeah, yeah. The whole how it unfolded happened. Actually, I think the type of prisoner, they should have actually had two officers with them, not just the one. So,
So
but
yeah,
anyway, that was his job to escort him up to the courts through on the boat back in those days, because there's no
right,
highway getting up there back
right.
then,
The
unless
the
it was
river was the
like the
highway.
old wagon road or something.
The land transportation was by horse. Even if you had a wagon, you were still being pulled by a horse. It's
Yeah,
a lot quicker when you use nature's highways, the rivers.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, that was used all over the world too, was the river systems, and then also down coastal areas. I mean, it even happened here on the coastal. Natives went way down to Oregon and sometimes beyond that. So there was reports that they had done trade all the way down to Mexico.
Right. And of course, even if you look at today's population, the far majority of people in the United States live very close to the coast.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like in Canada, most of the population's in the south, as it's very scattered in the north.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize the majority of Canadians actually live further south than our fellow state people up in Maine.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you look at all the major cities in Canada, they're all close. You know, they're not far from the U.S. border. So,
Right.
I
And
mean, yeah,
Maine's
you
pretty
got
far north.
places like Whitehorse and Northwest Territories and all that, but that was a slow development along the way. And again, it was very village-like for a long time before that slowly started to develop.
All right. Well, yeah, did you want to slip into another ghost box session? Try it one more
Okay,
time, see what
we'll
we can
do that
get.
again.
Then we can chat again and maybe do a second one.
Like,
Hello.
oh,
How many active spirits around where I am right now? Can you tell me? Do you know? How many? Is it more than 15? Some days we get up to 20 or more. And then other days maybe 3.
Yep.
What about anybody from the Bothwell family? Not far from where their place was. Pioneers of the day. Is John Bothwell there? Are you there, sir? We haven't talked for a while. Who else is there? Very nice to meet you. Who's got a message? I'm on a radio show. Do you have a message maybe for a listener out there? Or for the host, Len?
I got a sworn I heard my
You
name
have
when
a
you
message
mentioned
for
me.
them?
I can't.
You might be.
Like, yeah.
Who's this? Nice to meet you. I'm getting quite a few voices over my radio tonight. Did the solar storm activities help? Did that help you with your energies? We've had northern lights recently.
Yeah. Off.
About a week ago, it was the full moon. What else would you like to tell me? Are you here right now?
Yeah.
Yeah? What color t-shirt am I wearing?
No.
What color? You really know?
Then
I thought I heard a nun there, and after you asked about underwear, I'm not wearing any. So they called me correctly.
Who else is there? Okay, I'm going to end my session. We'll chat in a little while. Okay. A lot of voices came through on that one.
A lot of voices. I heard my name once.
Yep.
And when you ask about your T-shirt, I was thinking in my mind, you could have said, "What color is my underwear?" And when I was thinking that, I heard a very clear none. And what I'm wearing is just a pair of sweatpants. It's a little bit cool down here at nights now.
Yeah.
Although it's supposed to go to 80 tomorrow, it's a little bit cool. So I am wearing sweatpants, but I don't have any underwear on.
Okay.
I'm going commando.
I ask those kind of questions quite often just to see if they're aware of where I am and are they able to see around. Some people may take a pen or something like that and ask them what this is or whatever. So, it's a good exercise to do when you're using ITC methods with the ghost box.
Right.
It's all part of that awareness for the spirits.
Right. Now, a lot of times I've thought questions and other people think questions and they get answered before you can actually say it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to say that until I heard none. Yeah. It answered the question perfectly as the question I had in my head.
Yeah.
So we kind of have a theory of what spirits are. They're non-incorporate beings. We know they can travel through the internet because our internet's a form of energy. We're beaming energy all around us.
Exactly.
Which is why I think we get so many spirits now because we got infrared, we've got all kinds of beams going around.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a strong believer that they're able to read our thoughts too at the time.
Yes.
And so they kind of know where we're coming from with what we're saying, either what we're saying verbally or our internal thoughts, subconsciously maybe, or even consciously, one of the two. Again, I mean, it's good, if you're in a location, pick something that might be, relative to that, and ask questions about it, and you'd be surprised the amount of answers that you could get that are basically intelligible.
Yes, it's fascinating. I love that. This is one of my favorite parts of the paranormal field, uh, especially to do live on the show because you're seeing live what happens instead of
Yeah, I mean,
the
this is
other
not
night I heard a
rehearsed in
voice.
any way. This is
Yeah,
we're going basically when I keep turning the ghost box on. So it's
right.
unscripted, you name it. So it's
Mhm.
real time spirit communications, as they say.
Right. I had no questions written down. Everything is as we go, live as it can be. It's interesting to get interaction live instead of telling people about it. Here it is on YouTube.
Yeah,
Go watch it
yeah.
and see what you think.
Does any of your audience might have a question or something pertaining to that that I could help them and ask the ghost box?
Well, I don't know if we got any requests for that enough for the
Yeah.
audience, but if Sean is still around, we can see if
Yes.
he's got any questions.
Um, yeah, I mean, when the frequency comes up and it sounds like a radio, how is it actually deciphering that?
That's a good question. It's continuously scanning, and this is I'm using basically the random mode of scanning, and that tends to cut out a lot of broadcast radio. So I always found the broadcast radio is very easy to identify, at least in my area, because I've traveled around in some areas. Broadcast radio sounds a bit different than again, and then sometimes less staticky, more staticky in that. So, but I always look at, if you're going to ask a question to the ghost box, what are you getting back? Is it somewhat intelligible? That is it relative to what you're asking? And that's kind of how I've always measured my success.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Is it able to separate old ham radios or ham radio operators as well?
Well, I'm on a broadcast radio frequency of the FM band, so it's basically scanning in that capacity. Yeah, I've some of my ghost boxes have shortwave, and I've used shortwave in that, and that can be very interesting as well. Uh, Again, AM, like I said earlier, doesn't work too well in my area. Too much disturbance, for one
Right.
thing. But once you get out further out, out of the city, and that it does work a little better. So sometimes I've used that in the up around Agassiz, I've used the AM mode sometimes up there, and I found it to work quite well.
Have you actually got full sentences out of it? Because I think when Len and I did one here about a week or so ago, I thought I heard at least a good sentence out of his when he got it just set up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you'll get those 3-4 word little phrases in that. That is quite common, or maybe 1 or 2 words, or sometimes they'll say it. It's like almost they're putting enough energy out to say 1 or 2 words, and you can almost feel the energy behind it, kind of thing. And
Right.
again, I always refer to these devices. Okay, sure, it's just a radio, but it's been modified to do what it can do to scan. But basically, it's a mediumship tool for mediumship, really. Mediumship is spirit communications, however you go about doing it. But radio's been used for a long time for spirit communications, direct radio tuning, you name it. So, and tube radios and
The
stuff
white
like
noise, because I've done white noise.
that. Pardon me. Yeah, exactly.
Bill, how long does that device you have in your hand that we're using tonight stay on one frequency?
Well, it's scanning on the FM band, so it's going through all the frequencies of that band. Okay, broadcast radio.
Right.
I use
How,
this
how
one a
long?
lot now because it's very convenient, and at the same time, people can hear it. Because some of the ghost boxes I have, yeah, you might hear it occasionally, but a lot of people they get lost in the scanning and the clicking sounds and the swishing sounds of radio, or the radio noise in itself, and
Right.
again, that makes it difficult to listen to.
Yeah. But how long is it on each frequency? A half a second or a quarter second?
Oh, probably less than a fraction of a second, I would say. They're scanning, it's scanning really fast, right? So the clicking, so
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what it's rated at, but I know that it's scanning really, it's going by the dial, shall we say, scanning fairly fast.
Mhm.
It's interesting
It's
work.
not like super fast, but again, you have to think of if you have your like an old hacked radio, like Radio Shack hacks. Yeah, you did get stuff through, and that's how I first got started was with a Hack Shack. I actually hacked it myself, and but again, you were getting a lot of the remnants of broadcast radio on both FM and AM. Again, I found that other people they would find it difficult to determine what was the actual
Mhm.
response because the broadcast radio stuff were messing with their thoughts on the replies and stuff like that. So as this one it's more you hear that nice white noise in the background, and of course I'm a strong believer that white noise is is all part of the whole EVP phenomena and stuff like that.
Right. You gotta have a frequency for them to talk over, because
Yeah,
how many
well,
times do you
a
actually
lot
hear
of
a
people
spirit when
use
they can hear?
fans while they use the digital recorder, or back in the day, reel to reel magnetic tapes, cassettes, whatever, and had fairly good microphones, external that had good responses of those lower frequencies. Because a lot of those, the EVP stuff's going to be coming in at the lower frequency that we can't hear, of course, and then we only
Right.
hear after.
Hmm.
It like I said,
I
this is
discovered something just recently. I got
okay.
myself one of these small, uh, what do you call, consumable body cams, and I was using it to test in the local. There's a small green space park near my area. While I was walking, I had this indication of turning over to look the other way, and I did. And anyway, after when I was listening and everything, of course, you hear all the background noise and everything, but I did actually hear a voice come through. And then I amplified it a bit with the amplifying speaker, and sure enough, and I turned my head soon after it happened. So again, I mean, I have a certain level of mediumship myself, and so I pick up on things where equipment doesn't always do me good, but I can sort of, I can sense when spirit energy is near me or something unusual. In that case, I didn't hear the voice at the time, but what I did was I felt the indication. Well, I should look over.
Right. And for those who are listening and never been around in person for a spirit box session, it be patient, because it takes a trained ear to hear this. It's like listening to a stethoscope. A doctor can tell things are wrong with your chest, your lungs, your
Yeah,
heart by listening to a stethoscope, where I would be totally lost. I'm hearing stuff. Okay, what does that mean? And it's the same thing with a spirit box. You got to train your ear. It takes a little bit.
yeah. Well,
Just
I
do as
mean, the
many
whole
sessions as
thing
you
of
can.
the Frank's box with Frank Sumption, I mean, he himself was an amateur radio guy too, on the side. So he had a real good knowledge of radio even before he started hacking radios to do what they could do to do spirit communications. And of course, I think it was Popular Electronics where there was an article that inspired him to use a radio like that and to modify it and so on. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people now with the ghost boxes, they don't even know who Frank Sumption is really, and they're using them and that. But many years ago, the local clubs around here, they didn't want anything to do with spirit boxes and stuff like that. So again, that's why I became an independent basically. But when I finally did start to use the ghost box, yeah, things started to really work quite well. And the different locations you go to, I mean, you get these really incredible voices coming through that are intelligible. So, and then some people recognize these voices too.
Yeah, if they hear the spirit of an ancestor or somebody they knew when they were alive, they
Yeah,
can recognize the voices.
yeah. I even played a little bit with your travel TVs, the black and whites.
So I was about
You
ready to
had a
ask
radio
you.
and a TV all in one kind of thing, and a little handle, and you took it off, ran on so many double Ds or whatever, or D batteries. But I found after when, what do you call the television frequencies went over to digital, so those basically became just white noise and other whatever noises you get off of those frequencies. But anyway, in conjunction with this as a standalone device, I was able to communicate and get faces coming through the TV through that white staticky look on the screen and that. And that happened quite a number of times when I did that. So I even did that at events and stuff like that, where people, were really grieving stricken with their better halves passed away in car accidents, and aunts and uncles, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, friends that have passed away and that, and then their voices coming through. And then if their face shows up on the TV, that really, they were very amazed to say the least. So,
So the TV that you use, because that's one of the questions I was about ready to bring up. Has anybody ever tried that? But wouldn't those have to be TVs from the late '80s and early '70s, probably, or maybe a little earlier?
yeah, well, that's basically what I have. I mean,
Hmm.
those were the travel TVs that people took with them camping. Basically, that was those type of TVs with a long telescopic antenna and everything. So,
Right.
but again, once the TV frequencies went over to digital, now you have all this analog frequencies that aren't being used now. Slowly, I think here in Canada, they've started to use them for other purposes. But however, there's still the UHF frequency bands and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That yeah, it's just how do you call
Interesting.
just white noise basically, and staticky, snowy pictures and stuff. And yeah, I know some of the other people, they would put a sweep circuit in the old TV set, so they were constantly going through the TV frequencies. But I
Hmm.
never would do that. I would just dial in very slowly and just kind of felt where it was best, and then I'd start using, say, the ghost box, and then the TV would be off on the side, and I would ask for faces to appear, and sure enough, it did happen quite a few times.
Hmm.
I remember one lady in particular, her boyfriend had died in a car accident about 2 years before. And she came and she asked about wanting to make contact. And I said, well, yeah, let's go for it and see if he comes through. And sure enough, his face came through. And of course, she was teary eyed and everything. And yeah, it was, she was so amazed by it.
Interesting.
So she, I mean, to this day, well, I don't know if she's now done it, but she said she still had his ashes because he was cremated, and she was always wanting to spread them over at this one lake that he used to like to go fishing. And I said, sure, you should do that. And so hopefully she did, and that. So, but anyway, he came through and told her that basically he loved her, and yeah, tears came down her eyes, and it was sad too, but happy.
Right. At least she got some closure out of it and some understanding.
And then another lady was brought to me, and it was at a paranormal conference here in my area. It was a big one, and I did the sessions the same way. I wouldn't even look at the TV. I had the TV turned totally away from me, so she was across the table sitting, so she could see the TV. All I had was the ghost box at my end, and I would make the communications that way. I didn't want to have people think I'm trying to influence the TV or anything like that, through those aspects of the mind and that. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
but anyway, I mean, again, it doesn't always happen. That's the thing about it. When it does, it's just the right moments and it clicks. And when it does, you can really feel the energy. It's very strong.
That's the thing. If you get evidence every time you crank up a spirit box, a ghost box, or go into a room, and you get evidence, you gotta wonder about your own investigation. Yeah, if you always get something,
Yeah,
you gotta get that null reading.
Pardon me, sorry to interrupt there, but doing things like a radio show, for me, it was always interesting because you would have people texting or whatever to the host of the show. Oh, could Bill try to get a hold of my grandma on that? So I would make these attempts, and sure enough, a lot of times it did happen that I was able to get her voices through. Sometimes very strong voices that would come through for these people. And I always found that interesting. And originally, I wasn't too keen on doing live ghost box sessions, but eventually I decided to do that it was Dave Scott that encouraged me to do that. So he said, you would be perfect for doing that. And I said, okay, well, we'll try it. So originally I did it in a car beside an old school that had been torn down that had a haunted reputation. That's now a park. And it's a dog walking park or whatever. But anyway, the energy in the area still hasn't left. It's still pretty strong in that area. And again, the area has a lot of other more recent problems with homelessness and that migrating to these parks and that. And some of them have passed away through drug overdoses or exposure to the elements and cold weather and that. So again, that was a lot of fun doing it in the car, and we got a lot of stuff coming through. And then I was using the direct link, the one that Jay Prather built for me, and it was one of the original ones that he has, because the ones he has now are like next generation kind of stuff. But the one I had, there was no antenna. I would touch the little plate on the side, and with my connection to it, the reception for the radio would happen. Because as soon as you stop touching that plate, you wouldn't get any. You just get white noise, and then you'd start to hear the radio hissing sounds. What a radio would make when it's being scanned. And he used also what he called the random scanning mode as well. He was always big on that. So, but anyway, it does work. I've done it many times. So.
Yeah, what he was talking about with the other show, Bill was a guest on Dave Scott's show quite a few times. I was there for about
a good 5 years, so
a whole bunch of times.
I'd say for probably at least a good 3 years I was doing it in the car, and then slowly the area started to go through a lot of change. I noticed too. There was more homeless people, and being in the parking lot sort of adjacent to the park. Nowadays it's a park where the school was. I thought it would be best I would do that at home for my own safety, because some of these people, you don't know what their intentions are. So
you want to be the ghost hunter, not the ghost being hunted.
Yeah, or become a ghost and come over the ghost box.
Exactly.
Yeah. So But anyway, I mean, it was a lot of fun, and then we got stuff, some amazing stuff that came through, and stuff that freaked out Dave Scott as well, because he was always a bit. He really never really got the full aspect of the ghost box. That's my opinion anyway. But I mean, from talking to him and that. So, but I mean, again, the ITC has gone through a lot of changes, and they're using, well, of course, apps are one form. Other ones are using, frequency generators and all these other interesting stuff now that's out there. And again, yeah, there's a bit of skullduggery too with the ITC community. With some people, I've even made some comments about it sometimes, and Thief in the Nights, where they've taken that and then broke away and basically refined it slightly and calls it their own. Basically, they stole it. So, but anyway, this does happen. I mean, there's, of course, no what do you call copyrights or any of those kind of things on these kind of devices or anything like that. So.
Yeah, a lot of locations, like the old Rhodes Hotel, you can actually go there, and they got somebody to build them some spirit boxes, and I guess they 3D imprinted a small miniature Rhodes Hotel.
Yeah.
And the ghost box is inside a miniature Rhodes Hotel, and they actually sell those down there. So there is no copyright. You can't copyright the airwaves.
No. Well, maybe if you spent a lot of money, you could do it on the device. But I mean, a radio is a radio, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
It's what you do with that radio after. I mean, this is just a receiver. It's not a transmitter. But
Exactly.
I'm still able to get intelligent responses through it. So that kind of gets some people who are a little bit on the skeptical side wondering, okay, what's exactly happening here, and how can I explain that, and so on.
Right. Of course, Sean doesn't know this, but if I had become a fan of Dave Scott and listening to his show 5 nights a week several years ago, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be
Yeah,
I'd
and I
be
wouldn't have met
watching
you
TV.
either. So
Yeah, we would never have met, Bill,
yeah,
and I wouldn't be doing a podcast.
yeah.
Dave Scott's the
Eventually,
one that
you
kind of
got
inspired
involved
me.
in podcasting, so
Yeah.
that's the thing is even with all the different paranormal radio shows, internet based, and that's even gone through the changes. Now it's the video feeds and everything. Back in the day, it was strictly just audio. So you still had that old thought of people talking on there, and then the what they call theater of the mind. You're trying to understand what they're saying, and you're looking at it in the back of your head and trying to formulate some kind of an image to make sense of what they're talking about. And nowadays, like I say, you have what we are right now. The audience can see all three of us. So, but back then they couldn't. So it was just the audio itself. So it was almost like that theater of the mind of the radio.
Yeah, because that was a precursor to podcasting, was doing going on the radio and doing a show at 2 o'clock in the morning for overnight truckers and people just traveling at night.
Yeah, well, the talk radio circuits of the day and the analog radio, it was, I mean, even Vancouver had some great talk shows hosts and hostesses that became very well known, and some of them became authors and stuff like that. So the thing is radio and all that goes through a lot of transition changes, just like all the other technologies.
Right. And here we go. StreamYard several years ago took a big step forward, and there's 2 or 3 other platforms similar to it.
Yeah.
And now you just get a couple $100 of equipment and you'll be a podcaster.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it out of your own home, basically, and reach a lot
Where
of
I am.
people once you get an audience base going and a following. And even the different shows I was on, some of them were very well-known shows amongst the paranormal community, others not as well-known. But the thing is each host or hostesses, their energy and how they would talk and interact with their guests made a lot of difference. And if they had some good interviewing skills and being able to articulate and everything in that nature over the subject matter. So it's like I say, it's gone through a lot of changes.
Yep. Well, we have been at this, would you believe, almost an hour, 35 minutes now?
Wow. Yeah, it goes by fast when you do talk radio.
Yeah, well, it just flies by when you're having fun. Do you want to do another session? Because
Okay,
before we
let's
run
just
completely out of time, and Sean runs us out of his room.
On the north, east,
Hello,
to east.
how are you tonight?
Friday. The chance
Are you happy?
No.
No, why is that?
the straight.
You're sad?
Yeah.
Okay. Hope no one's angry.
Corner.
Hope you're not angry at me. Would you like to say something to the audience? You know anybody?
To be.
Who else is there? So are we going to get more northern light activity again? More solar storm generated? Are we going to get more of that activity? I know that kind of energy gives you energy. Yeah, I'd really like to get a name from somebody. There's someone there that might have known me from the past.
I'm like the beast. I don't know.
I know in the past I've gotten a lot of people speaking
Yeah.
French.
I know. Right.
If you want, you can speak your native tongue if you like, the language that you are, the country you're from originally.
Out of corner.
Yes, foreigner, but anyway, as far as I'm concerned, you're all welcome to communicate.
Ed. And
I heard the name Ed. Is that Ed Brooks that I hear on the other side?
with
Who else is there? Okay, thank you for communicating. Goodbye. Okay.
I heard the word Ed twice, and Ed was a friend of mine. I went graduate high school with him. Actually took his younger sister to the prom a year or two later, and he died. Let's see, I came down here. I talked to him in December 2015. He died about a year later, uh, maybe the very early parts of 2017. He died.
Okay.
And when I do sessions, invariably I hear either Ed, somebody's talking to him. He was a real nice guy. He'll talk to anybody, be friends with anybody.
So did you
So it could be.
recognize his voice tonight over my ghost box?
It sounded a little bit like him. He
Okay.
had a decent looking sounding radio voice. He actually did announcing at the local dirt track
Okay.
in our younger years. I was racing and he was doing the announcing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, you know, the
Uh,
neat thing is where you are, you're like on the other side of North America almost, but from where I am,
yeah,
a
but
little further south in Arkansas, and I'm up here on the west coast of Canada in British Columbia, the Pacific Northwest to be exact. But the thing is distance really doesn't matter
no,
when you're using the ghost box, especially when you're doing talk radio and that. So with people in your area that have passed on, it's their opportunity to come over, even if they're doing it over my radio over here, many, many miles away. So, time, or I should say, distance, is not really a big problem to them.
no, it's totally irrelevant. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
can. They're there. It's amazing what's
Yep.
there. That's why it's such a
Yeah.
fascinating
Well, the
thing to
thing
do.
is you're not just getting English-speaking voices coming over. Sometimes you're also getting, like I say, I've gotten a lot of French people in the past coming through on the Ghost Box. I've also gotten other nationalities of people in my area from Southeast Asia. There's a lot of high community people from India and that here. Chinese as well. What do you call Mandarin and Cantonese, Vietnamese as well has come through, and I mean it really is not limited to just English.
Mm-mm.
So that's the
No.
nice thing for some of the viewers out there tonight that really don't understand about the radio and that. So yeah, you can easily get different people from other nationalities coming through, and sometimes they're speaking in their native tongue. It happened to me in the Philippines in Mindanao, out in the countryside. We were at this one cemetery, and I started getting native language coming through. That's very, you just don't hear that very much outside of that area being spoken. And yeah, it came through, and people around that could speak that language, they recognized it, and then they said about it after to me that, yeah, they were coming through.
You never know if you open a door, and basically when you got a spirit box, whatever you're
Yeah,
using, you're opening a door to the other side,
yeah,
and you
exactly.
don't know what's going to speak to you. You really
Yeah.
don't.
Even some people, when I was there, said they might have heard a little bit of Japanese. So, I mean, we can only theorize that maybe that could have been from the Second World War. There was a lot of Japanese people that died, soldiers and
Hmm.
people of that nature.
Right.
Again, uh, when you get this happening, I know people like you're saying New Orleans, for example, people sometimes are picking up French down there as well.
You can pick up that was Spanish held territory for a while, French held.
Yeah,
You pick
French
up Spanish
and
and French down there.
yeah, exactly. And then the French Quarter and New Orleans and that. So uh, yeah, you're gonna get this, and then also different versions of that language being spoken as well. slightly
Yeah,
different dialects and stuff.
yeah. Cajun is something else down there. It's a combination of French and a little bit of English thrown in. So it's kind of I guess a sub language is what you'd call it.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, it's like when, for example, when I was in Manila, yeah, I got a lot of Tagalog through, but I also got a lot of English through because if you look at their educational system, English is a second language in
right.
the Philippines in general. So I was able to pick up a lot of English off of the Ghost Box while I was there as well. And that, of course, made it easier for me. But yeah, I was getting the Tagalog as well. That's kind of like their national language in the Philippines. And that's kind of a micmash of Spanish and some other things. But anyway, pardon me, it came through other words on the Ghost Box. So,
Well, Bill, I guess we need to start winding it up. Yeah, I will make an offer to you. Uh, if you anytime you like to come on the show, if you want to do it on a monthly, semi-monthly, however you want to do it, you're more than welcome. We can talk about privately and kind of make a deal, and because I'm glad to have you on the show anytime.
okay, well, that's great. Well, thank you. I have been thinking about maybe doing again once a month show. And then during the summer months, it depends on what's happening with myself, if I'm doing any traveling or whatever. But yeah, I still like doing talk radio. There's no question about it. Again, I think that would be great that we could do that. Maybe explore with some other radios so people could understand what I'm talking about. That all ghost boxes aren't equally the same, and they can hear it for themselves if they are not familiar with it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about doing once a month or
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, Bill. You're
Yeah.
always welcome on my show.
Okay. Well, thank you, Len. That's a great offer. And I know Gwen, she's bugged me a little bit about going on her show. And then I was thinking about doing that actually in September. And then that accident took place. So it kind of slowed me down a little bit. So I didn't want to be on the air with my face all black and blue. So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, it was great.
yeah.
Uh,
We can talk to Gwen about it when we can work something out.
yeah, yeah. So her show and your show. And then, I thought of, for example, maybe bringing in someone like Jay Prather, who I know, and he's built me some radios in the past, ghost boxes and that. But he's really good at talk radio as well. And of course, he's the builder, so you're getting a different perspective from me just as a
Yeah.
user. I don't really build ghost boxes like he does, of course. And uh, I know he's tagged up with Austin Mathers, so those two working together. So, I mean, these guys are sort of, as far as I'm concerned, like the cutting edge of ghost box technology.
Yes, send me their info on Facebook Messenger,
Yeah,
and we can talk to
yeah.
them. And
Another guy too is KD there, Stafford. Brilliant guy at what he can do in building ghost boxes and stuff, and experimental. And that's, these are the kind of people you really want to keep an eye on, and then at the same time see what's being developed along the way, because sometimes people discover new things by doing this method. So
Very true.
that's true.
yep, it's one thing just to have the radio being transformed into a ghost box, but now you can technically tweak it so you can hear it better and better responses. And sometimes it's just the energy that's attached to it, the signature energies and that are coming through. People who are sensitive a lot of times pick up on stuff that I do when I'm doing my sessions and that. So some of them are affected too by it as well. But I always say that you should always, protect yourself no matter what. That's a personal responsibility each of us have if we're going to be doing the paranormal. So, and how you go about doing that is your own way of doing it, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I knew this one guy. He would have the ghost box, but instead of having it hooked up to a speaker, he would run it through basically a cheap form of a DJ equivalent equalizer,
Yeah.
and he would add a sound very slight, very low of dripping water as a background noise, and then it would run out the speaker.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So he
Yeah.
added a
Well,
little
I mean,
sound
you
in the
can
back.
do many things, tweak it. I mean, now, I mean, they use portal type radios and amplifying speakers of all kinds. And, there's really no end to what you can do with a ghost box.
I also talked to one guy. He's on the show several months ago. He's got a box that's almost as big as this table I'm sitting at, where my computer's sitting. Just a huge thing, not mobile at all. He can only do this in his basement. He
Yeah.
runs it through there, and he has built his own equipment, the own circuit boards, and it eliminates the white noise from the ghost box.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can hear it broadcasting through it, but you don't hear it in the speaker. Time it gets to the speaker, it filters out the white noise, and all you get, and it also eliminates all the radio frequency, and that's why it's so huge.
Well, the way it almost
and I
acts
guess
like a
voices.
filter.
Yeah, it's a big filter, big electronic filter.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
I know in the UK, some of the builders over there are experimenting with that whole similar concepts of static-free ghost boxes and stuff like that. And I mean, they're good. The only thing is your reception. I'm still of the old theory that you need broadcast radio for it to be spinning around in a scanning method to get those fragments of audio to reformulate and modulate themselves to form speech. And so that's important as well. Again, I've used, Faraday cage concepts, and I was still getting stuff through. Now, whether or not it was a true Faraday cage was questionable, but even if it was masking the signal, what some people claimed I was doing, I still was getting stuff coming through that was really good. And it was intelligible at the same time.
Yeah, I used a Faraday bag on a SB7 a few times.
Yeah.
And it does eliminate a lot of the radio, because you don't pull the antenna up, keep the antenna down, put it in a Faraday bag or a box, and you've eliminated a lot of radio sound.
Oh yeah. I mean, your experiments can be almost endless how you want to do them. Even like the Estes method too. I don't really do that very much, but what I have seen of it is impressive. But it's a whole different way of doing the communications with your ghost box if you're doing it in that method, for example.
Yeah, we had an example of that on my show on Halloween. We ended up with having two shows on Halloween. Mm-hmm. We stopped one because we thought we were done. Then the guest I was expecting came on and said, "Okay, I'm ready." And I said, "Okay, we'll have to open up another show." Opened up another show, and he went straight into an Estes session ghost box.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Great cost. Does it 4 or 5 days a week if you keep track of him.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He does it the right way. He's an older fellow. He's older than I am. So anybody older than me is an older fellow. But I'm sure Sean is. We're approaching 2 hours, and that's about as far as we like to go nowadays. So, Bill, it's been fantastic talking to you as normal. We'll talk about privately. Get Gwen on when it'd be next week, because she's at that Paracon. They're going to be real busy this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
Because in Salem. So maybe next week if we can get her, and the three of us can discuss out.
Yeah, we do a little what do you call Facebook Messenger conferencing and
that kind of thing.
Things, yeah.
exactly. Because I would instead of appearing on my show once a month, have you on my show once, like tonight, and then be on a Gwen show, be on Sean's show, be on all the other shows that's
That
on all
reminds me of the
Access Network
days when I
TV.
was with Pair X. I used to do, Dave Jones got me going on all, well, not all of them, but quite a few of the shows when I first started doing talk radio. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot from, how to do talk radio and, at least put yourself out there presentably and so on. And yeah, it's always interesting, this is a great forum for doing live ghost box sessions, no question about it.
It's a lot of fun. It's fascinating, and doing on different shows with different people gives you some variety, and it's a great opportunity. We are Gwen's got some plans for, and Sean knows a little bit of this about expanding a little bit. And if we plan for you to be like you're on this show on November 13th, if you're going to be on Sean's show December the 18th, or you're going to be on Gwen's show January the 12th, or you're going to be on one of the other shows February the 15th, whatever, we can put, if we've got that locked down, we can go ahead and advertise and put that out in front where people know where you're going to be on what date, and your fans, the people who want to hear you, can follow you around and be on the show because they know that's where you're going to be.
Well, it's also a good opportunity to mix it up a little bit and be able to maybe even get a special guest in and have a three-way communications and talk about, well, ITC is one thing, or how things are changing with the paranormal field in general, or whatever equipment. It's always a good way to do that. It's good for the audience at the end of the day for them to listen to. So
true.
And that's what I'd like to do with you, and like to do it with the network. So
that would be good.
Well, this is a good
network, and Gwen's always out traveling, going to these different conferences and that. So she's in Salem there. That's a place I've always wanted to go to. So.
All right. Well, Bill, it's been a pleasure talking to you. If you want to hang around for a few minutes, we're going to go ahead and sign off here. If you want to hang around for the post show, Sean and I usually go in there and gab a little bit back and forth. You're perfectly welcome to be there with us. You'll just hang on and stay in the studio. We can come back for the post show. This is kind of just a private chat with the three of us.
All right, I'm going to drop Bill backstage here.
All right. Everybody out there and listen to All Access Network TV. Appreciate you listening to the show. Where you got on Facebook, you got it on X, because my show goes to X. It goes to YouTube. It also goes to Reddit and some of the other locations that I've got hooked up to my show. Wherever you watched it or where you are watching it, because it's recorded a lot of times. You're in the future. Hi, hello, future. Appreciate you listening. If you're saw it on Facebook, I guess we're friends, or you saw where on the All Access Network TV's Facebook. If we're not friends, send me a friend request. I'll approve you real quick. If you're listening on YouTube, where you don't have to be a friend of mine, I'd appreciate a like, share, and subscribe. Give me another venue if you share it. But if you just want to watch it, hit that thumbs up or subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and you'll never miss a show. So I do appreciate everybody on YouTube. I, of course, appreciate all the fans on Facebook. And remember about the Salem Paracon, which is this weekend. If you're anywhere near there, that will be the place to be this weekend. Next year, starting July 31st, 1st and 2nd, the place will be in New Orleans for the first annual New Orleans Paracon, where ghost hunting is allowed, is pushed. You have several hours each night being ghost hunts, and see people who have been ghost hunting for years and years, sometimes decades, and you'll be able to watch them in action. That's the way to learn how to do spiritual investigations. Find somebody who's done it for years, and you say, okay, what do you want me to do? And you follow them around and see how they work. And it's a lot more educational to do it that way than it is to watch a TV show. TV shows are cram a whole lot of stuff in. That's not the way to learn how to investigate. Go to something like the New Orleans Paracon, and you watch a pro in action. Good night, everybody. And remember, paranormal never sleeps. Good night.
Good night, everyone.